Hey, I'm Kate. I'm a queer disabled artist based in Brooklyn, New York, who's been struggling a little bit lately with creating. I've been in a creative rut and just haven't been producing as much work as I would like to. I've even let my apartment fall into some shambles, and I think that my depression has been a little bit on the rise. To brighten up my apartment and my mood, I thought I would go pick up some sunflowers. Benefits are going to be twofold. One, the apartment's going to look brighter and cheerier. Two, I'm going to have some subject matter. I think it'd be cool for me to venture into doing work with florals. I typically work on portraits and monochromatically, and sunflowers would be a great challenge for me to go and work with plant life and embrace more color. And if I'm gonna depict sunflowers, there's really only one guy I can study: Vincent Van Gogh. I appreciate Vincent Van Gogh because the man can appreciate a sunflower. Studying other artists is a fantastic way to strengthen your own skills, and Van Gogh is clearly an expert. As a person who also famously struggled with depression, I'm hoping that I can explore and understand more about how he managed his mental health while he was working and creating art. Let's run through a little bit of the bio of our Dutch post-impressionist. He lived from 1853 till 1890, dying by suicide at age 37. He lived in a few different places, primarily Paris and Arles in the south of France. It's this period of his life that I find most interesting, and in his work, his yellows and blues became bolder and more pronounced. He often depicted his bouquets in early morning light. What I hadn't known was what inspired him to create his sunflowers, which is his relationship with Gauguin. Gauguin was a contemporary artist in the avant-garde scene. The relationship between Van Gogh and Gauguin was particularly tragic. Van Gogh invited Gauguin to move in with him to create a center of art outside of Paris in Arles, staying in his yellow house. Gauguin ultimately said yes to the invitation and arrived October 23rd of 1888. Van Gogh famously created his series of sunflowers in Arles for Paul Gauguin, creating 4 works in just 1 week before his arrival. Gauguin even considered Van Gogh to be, as titled in a portrait, the painter of sunflowers. Their time together was brief. Only a couple of months before their relationship began to struggle. Gauguin found the conflict ultimately unmanageable and wrote Theo, Van Gogh's brother, saying, quote, "Everything considered, I am obliged to return to Paris. Vincent and I simply cannot live together without trouble due to the incompatibility of our characters, and we both need tranquility to work." So what's my takeaway here? What have I learned and what's interesting? Van Gogh depicts sunflowers with such passion and such warmth. I was surprised that sunflowers had a similar meaning to him, that they reminded him of a specific person in the way that when I depict these sunflowers, they will inevitably be romantic and remind me of my spouse. I find Van Gogh very relatable as someone who struggles with mental health. He was extremely open about his struggles, something that I am also pretty transparent about. I'm really grateful that I was able to pop to the Brooklyn Public Library to pick up some books, that I was able to go through Wikipedia and really learn so much new information about what's behind Van Gogh's sunflowers. As Rob Thomas would say, it's a hot one. Think it's time to go save some sunflowers, don't you? We're going on a field trip for the channel. We're going on a field trip. Do. For realsies though, it is so hot out. July is not messing around in the city this year. Genuinely pumped. Flowers just make things feel better. Like, the apartment is kind of chaos right now. I've got a lot of cleaning to do, but flowers just make everything feel cleaner and brighter. These flowers are gonna be so happy when you get them a drink of water.
Well,
Are these not stunning? I'm so glad that we went and picked these up this morning. I was considering waiting till tomorrow, or honestly even next week to do this, but I feel good about having these. I've got a couple of days ahead of me where I can really focus on making some art, so we're gonna focus on these bad boys and see what we can do with them. Kind of fitting that I've got a yellow book right now to sketch in the subject matter. It's time for me to get to the So it's about time for coloring. I want to pick up just a couple more shades. I'm excited to share the art supply store with you. It's massive. I had never had something like this when I lived outside of New York City, so I'm really pumped. I also felt inspired to, be sunny today. Ow. This is a little bit of an experiment for me. I am new to Copic markers. Generally speaking, what I like about them is the blendability. You can really build things in almost a way like paint. I'm enjoying my time drawing the sunflowers so far. They're very romantic. But it's time to go shopping. This store just off of 4th Avenue up on 2nd Street is a true treasure. I've been going here for years. I appreciate all of the supplies, the variety of media, the variety of paper, canvas, you name it, they've got it. I want to expand my collection with yellows and blues, but real talk, color intimidates me. I mostly do monochromatic prints, and color is an element in work that I just haven't played with very often. But sunflowers almost demand the use of color, so I'm gonna take on this challenge. I'll embrace bold blues for the background in order to help things have strong contrast, and the flowers are going to need to be dimensional, using a variety of yellows and greens. They'll be our softer, natural elements. What's great about a Copic is that it has 2 tips on the pen. One softer brush and a chisel tip that I can use for mark making. I took some time to indulge myself, browsing paper, and then headed home. Let's go. I'm feeling really good about the piece right now. I am really enjoying the texture that I've brought into the background. I think it makes it a bit more interesting and reminds me of the brush strokes and kind of the thickness and the response to just general space. I am really pleased with the way that I caught the light on the flowers and the petals, and I think that the gentleness of the types of greens that exist on a sunflower stem really come across. There's a softness there. This has been a really fun challenge. I've enjoyed blending the colors, building things up, seeing the ways that the markers interact. I think it's really good practice for me. So I'm feeling great about the way that this is turning out. The contrast, I mean, the flowers pop. They undeniably pop. So it's probably best that I not try out on the final piece what I'm considering, and it doesn't seem like someone wanted me to anyway. So what I thought I would do is trial the experiment in my sketchbook, because that's what things are for. I just feel as if the style and the graphic is a little too modern, a little too poppy for me. A division that comes with the harshness and the intensity of the black, with colors that otherwise really cooperated with one another. So I'm going to leave the final piece as I have it right now, and I'm feeling really happy with my work. So many things doing this project. I think one of the biggest lessons that I can take away is that color is not as intimidating as you might think. Studying works, seeing types of combinations, things that work well together, like the way that I analyzed yellow and blue in Van Gogh's work, really did give me a head start in jumping into my own project. I think that the contrast I ended up achieving really makes the flowers pop forward from the background. Other things, mark making and texture is really fun. Seeing where my hand has gone and the energy in it. I love seeing the textures that I brought into the background with the blue, as well as some of the smaller details that I brought inside of the flower petals. The stippling that I did in the core of the flowers themselves. I think that texture became a really fun thing to play with, and I got a lot of variety inside of this piece. Overall, this project was a blast. I'm really glad that I did this exercise. I can't wait to share more future works with you as we create a lot this summer. Like, subscribe, comment. I would love to hear your thoughts on Van Gogh, if you learned any new facts, and what you thought of my final piece. Artists, whether it be Van Gogh or you, are incredible. Take care.